Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, everyone ate delicious, farm-fresh apples. But these weren't any ordinary delicious farm-fresh apples. These were the most ethically and sustainably produced apples with impeccable nutritional integrity. But everything changed when the leaders of this food system left, leaving this food system to be the worst food system conceivable. Apple Edition. This food system was the worst ever because it was unsustainable, inefficient, unethical, and inconsistent. It all started with how the apples were produced. The people running this food system decided to only grow their apple trees on indigenous National Reserve land because it was the cheapest option. They created space on this land to grow their apple orchards by burning precious forests with endangered wildlife. Not only did this process harm living beings, but the fumes emitted from the burning of the forest released carbon monoxide into the air. People in surrounding communities developed various respiratory illnesses. Once the land was cleared, copious amounts of harsh fertilizers and chemicals were used to drastically speed up the growth of the trees in order for them to produce fruit. Since the tree's growth took 5 years, and each lived to around 30 years, the practice of burning land and using growth enhancers to produce fruit was a negatively cyclical process. Processing. The apples were only harvested by the hands of child laborers. These children could only work for a maximum of 1 year, however, because any more exposure to the tree's growth enhancers would be too carcinogenic. What's worse is that these workers weren't supplied with any safety gear to protect themselves against these dangerous working conditions, and hence were expected to bring whatever protection they personally owned. If any children could bring protective gear to work, they'd be considered lucky, because most of the children weren't able to do this, as they could not afford it with their low wage of 5 cents an hour. After these children harvested the apples from the trees, they then treated the apples with preservatives and various coloring agents. The apples were then packed individually in plastic bags in order to be ready to be distributed to stores. Consumption. The consumption of these apples posed many health risks to consumers. Although they were able to be eaten raw, these apples were no ordinary apples. These apples' preservatives reacted to high temperatures to form harmful compounds that potentially contribute to many illnesses, but they were